Hello everybody, this is an astrological forecast for Scorpio for August of 2012, and this also applies if you have a Scorpio ascendant. So Scorpios, this is going to be an intense month and you love intensity. First week of the month, Mercury is still retrograde until the 8th of the month, retrograde in your 10th house. So definitely a time for finishing up any work that you've been working on, any projects, any research that needs to be done. Not the best time for communicating with people in the workplace. Wait until Mercury goes direct, because then you're going to be heard, you're going to be understood, and you're not going to find yourself repeating things or having to redo things, which is often the case during Mercury retrograde if you do important things during that time. Also important to remember not to be spending on big ticket items while Mercury is retrograde. You may find afterwards that you don't like these items and you can't get your money back, or even half of the money that you spent on them. So we've got a lot happening this month with Venus. Venus is making a lot of aspects, and particularly for you it's going to affect your relationships and your finances. Now we've got Jupiter in your 8th house along with Venus. So for those of you into this, if you want some very intense sex or some sexual experiences, some wonderful deep sexual experiences, this is the month for it, my dear Scorpios. Probably to many of you, music to your ears, but it's going to be intense. And also if you start a love relationship during this transit of Venus in your 8th house, it's going to be very, very intense, almost has an obsessive quality to it. And it's either going to make all the other relationships in your life much better or much worse. There's no halfway measures. You know that, Scorpios. You live in a black and white world. You don't tend to live in a lot of greyness. I know this, one of my best friends being a triple Scorpio. She can't understand a Libran who says, well, I can't decide, I can't make my mind up. Scorpios, well, you know, you see something usually for what it is. So I'm seeing the possibility of money coming through a partner, or somebody supporting you financially. If you need any kind of financial support, a grant or a scholarship or an award, it could well come to you this month and even this year with Jupiter in this 8th house of joint resources. Then we've got Venus going into your 9th house from the 8th to the end of this month. And this is a wonderful time to go on a vacation, to plan a pleasure trip. It's also a great time for meeting foreigners, strangers, people you've never met before, for expanding your horizons. Also a good time for starting a relationship with somebody who's from a different country than you're from. It's a very nice transit, that Venus through your 9th house. We've got a lot of focus first 3 weeks of this month on your career, on your work, with the sun in that house. After Mercury goes direct after the 8th, good time for being recognized, seen in the workplace, and also appreciated for all the work that so many of you really do with the energy that you put in. We've got Saturn Mars for much of this month in your 12th house. So with Mars in this 12th house, there's been quite a lot of frustrations I think you've been feeling, especially as Mars is your ruler, Scorpio. So you've been feeling like, one step forward, 3 steps back, a sense of being stuck, as though your energy can't somehow come out and stay out. With Saturn there as well, it's going to be important that you don't scatter your energies, that you really focus. Of course, Scorpio, you are the sign of intense focus. When you really want to focus, you can do. So make sure you really are focusing and take advantage of the Saturn-Mars aspect together so that you really can accomplish something, especially in private, in secret, that's not necessarily seen. But after the 25th of the month, you'll be so relieved because then Mars, your ruler, goes into the 1st house. You will feel a real sense of release of energy, as though you at last can now move forward easily, much more easily. Now, be careful you don't get into confrontations with people, because you will have had a lot of pent-up frustrations. So I suggest that you do some physical exercise, do something very physical, so that you don't run into arguments or disagreements just because at last you feel as though you really can move forward. And you may have felt that certain people, you may be blaming on certain people and situations for having held you back. but you'll be all stations go. We've still got this square of Pluto through Uranus from your 3rd to your 6th houses. So I think there's been some disruption in your work area, a lot of change going on, some surprises, even some betrayals. It's important that you keep your individuality, even if that may not be popular. And if necessary, you may need to move on. You may need to look for something else that gives you more deeper sense of fulfillment and joy in your life. So there you have it, Scorpios. I wish you a great month. Thank you to those of you who favourite the videos, who put them on other websites, who share them, and really to those of you who always come for readings. I'm always delighted to hear from you. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.